Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the absolute core mechanics of wealth creation. We're going to unpack 4 proven, fundamental ways people generate money. Look, if you've ever wondered why some people seem to scale their income so effortlessly, while others just feel stuck on a treadmill, the answer really lies in understanding these 4 specific pathways. We're going to break down the source material to reveal exactly how the mechanics of earning actually work behind the scene. But first, a quick reality check. I want you to genuinely ask yourself, how do you currently make money, right now, today? As we prepare to climb the wealth ladder in this explainer, it's absolutely vital to know exactly which rung you're standing on. Don't worry about where you think you should be, just pinpoint where you are. This kind of self-awareness, it's the crucial first step to shifting your financial trajectory for good. As our source material, quoting Dan Lok, puts it, almost everyone on the planet makes money one of these 4 ways. That's it. Now, sure, there are countless job titles, a million different side hustles, and infinite variations of businesses out there. But fundamentally, if you strip away all the industry jargon and the specific daily tasks, the actual underlying mechanism of how cash flows into your pocket falls into one of 4 distinct levels of earning. All right, let's get into it. Level 1, working, trading time for money. We start at the foundation, which is where the vast majority of us begin. You make money by working, either as an employee clocking in for a company or by being self-employed. And in both of these scenarios, the core transaction is exactly the same. You are exchanging your physical hours, your time, for a paycheck. Now, it is time to bust a very common myth. We often think that getting a highly respected, high-paying job changes the wealth equation. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't. Even high-income earners like doctors and lawyers are fundamentally still trading their time for money. It doesn't matter what your status is or how high your hourly rate climbs. If you stop working the hours, the money stops flowing. You're caught in the exact same time trap. The problem here is that as a worker, you have a hard ceiling. To make more money, your paths are severely limited. I mean, you can simply work more hours, but there are only 24 hours in a day, so you're gonna max out eventually. Alternatively, you can develop new skills to become more valuable to the marketplace, or you can get more education. Our source mentions an example of a worker named Joe, who went back to school so he could level up and manage the people who manage the machines. Okay, that increases his hourly value, for sure, but he is still inextricably linked to the clock. So if you want to break free from that traditional earning mindset, you have to make a massive mental shift. You have to move away from level 1, where your income depends strictly on the time you put in, and cross over to selling, where your income depends entirely on your results. This is where the ceiling finally starts to crack open. Which brings us to level 2, selling, escaping the time trap. This is where you transition into roles like acting as a closer, a copywriter, or a digital marketer. In these roles, you are finally untethered from the rigid hourly model. You're compensated for the transactions you generate, the value you bring, and the deals you close. Think about the earning potential here, $3,000. Our source material highlights a really stark contrast. As a closer, you could spend hours and hours on the phone on a bad day and make absolutely nothing. But conversely, if you're skilled, you could potentially make $3,000 in just 30 minutes. Your time no longer equals a set wage. A half hour can literally be worth thousands of dollars if the result is achieved. Because time no longer dictates your paycheck at this stage, only 3 things actually count for your success. First, your actual tangible skill at closing. Second, the size of your commission. And third, the price of the things you sell. If you optimize these 3 factors, your earning potential explodes without requiring you to work a single extra hour. And that brings us to the vital concept of high-ticket sales. This means focusing on selling expensive items to generate significant income with far fewer transactions. This completely defines the blue ocean strategy our source mentions. It explains the why behind the decisions made by top closers. Think about it. If your income depends on the price of what you sell and your commission, targeting higher-priced items just maximizes your efforts. You reach a significant income level much faster by making a few large sales rather than thousands of tiny, exhausting ones. Moving on up, we hit level 3, owning, generating true profits. Once you've mastered the art of selling and driving results, you can build directly on those skills through ownership. At this stage, you transition from actively participating in every single transaction yourself to making money by owning assets that do the work for you. You can own income-producing assets, like rental real estate, where the physical asset generates your money through rental income. Or you can run an active business, leveraging your leadership skills to build a team. In both cases, the money is being generated by the system you own, not just the hours you are awake. Now you've got to notice the massive terminology shift here. Profit. It is distinctly different from income. At levels 1 and 2, you're making income, but when you step up to level 3 and you own a business, you aren't making income anymore. You are generating profit. You are managing the spread between revenue and expenses. It's a completely different financial game. And finally, the peak. Level 4, lending, operating like a bank. This is the ultimate destination in our sources framework for wealth creation. You have moved past working, past selling, and even past managing the daily operations of a business. At this ultimate level, your primary tool is interest. You make money on the money you lend, completely eliminating the need to work harder or use high-income skills. What's absolutely fascinating here is that the profits or the salary you accumulated in the previous stages, they now do all the heavy lifting for you. You don't have to learn a new closing script. You don't have to manage a team of employees. You just earn money through the interest you charge for deploying your capital. At this level, you are essentially operating exactly like major financial institutions. We're talking banks, private equity firms, venture capital, and angel investors. You are making money purely on the money itself. Your capital is your employee, your closer, and your asset all rolled into one. Let's bring it all together. The Wealth Ladder, your blueprint for wealth. Let's synthesize everything we've learned in this explainer into a concrete progression. Understanding the individual levels is great, but seeing how these levels string together is vital, especially if you are starting from absolute zero today. You start at step 1 as a worker, trading your time to build initial capital and basic skills. Then you step up to step 2 as a closer or salesperson, learning to focus on results and high-ticket returns to rapidly scale your cash flow. Once you have that cash, you move to step 3 as an owner, buying assets or building teams to generate scalable profits. Finally, with those massive profits, you arrive at step 4, becoming a lender and operating like a bank. As our source material points out, creating wealth really isn't all that complicated once you understand the mechanics. It's a structured climb. So as you map out your own path to financial success, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Which stage of the journey are you starting today? Identify your rung, look up, and start climbing. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.